Can you see him?
I think he is a she. And I think she's a changeling. In that case, be extra careful. Go and find her. Where are you going, Master?
For a drink.
Welcome to the Wampa's Lair podcast. Deep in the bowels of the frozen ice caverns of Hoth, our hosts, Carl Leclerc, Jason Hunt, and Katie Horn, discuss all things Star Wars. So join the conversation and hang out here in the Wampa's Lair.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Wampa's Lair podcast. This is episode number 345, hanging at the Outlander Club. I'm, as always, one of your hosts, Jason Hunt, and with me, the Cantina Band and Chicken in the Pot to my Jedi Rocks, we've got Carl Leclerc and Katie Horn.
Hello.
Can I be chicken in the pot, please?
I knew you. Yes, I would give this to you. This is my gift to you.
Thank you so much. I mean, if he had called like Jabba's Baroque recital, like I'm all over that. Like, you know, me on Alden, but you know,
oh my.
But you know, I mean, nothing against. Wait, what? I already forgot. I was chicken in the pot. Wait, what was the other one, Jason?
Cantina Band.
Yeah, Cantina Band. That's fine. I think it's a good one.
And that's
it's not chicken in the pot.
One or two, depending on your preference. Oh man,
I am so flippin' excited for this episode. I missed the two of you. We took the week off last week. Re-released Katie's first ever episode, which was wildly over 2 years ago.
Oh God, time has no meaning.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
That was like last week. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I know. You were just on for the first time last week.
I know.
I don't know what's going on. You know, it's like, you know.
And, you know, but also Star Wars Celebration was like last week. Like everything was just last week. Time has no meaning.
Right. Yesterday and forever ago, all at once. And it's like, what the heck?
I missed you guys so much. I did.
It's nice to have the week off, but I did miss you guys. So I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back.
And I'm excited. Yeah, and I'm just glad because we have a really fun episode coming for you, because we each just prepared a couple of fun questions to ask each other. Just random fun stuff in Star Wars like we do here in the Lair. And
Yes.
I'm just excited to like play around with what you guys got cooking up, and I'm excited to share my questions with all of you. But before we get into any of that fun stuff, just got a couple more reviews we're going to read here at the top of the episode, because again, we have so many lovely people who take the time to hop into the iTunes store and write reviews for us. And again, to all of you that take the time to do this, thank you, because it means so much to us. And again, it just really helps the show. The more reviews we get, the more visible we are out there in the iTunes store. And you know, it just, if you like the show, this is the easiest way to spread the love. So thank you to those of you who took the time to do this. And our first review for today's episode comes from JRB Nerdcast is our username. And he says, or she says, or they say, you guys are my favorite Star Wars pod because your conversations aren't just all news-filled speculation. It's actual Star Wars convos about deeper things within the films. Love it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome. When this podcast was initially started, that was something that Carl and I really wanted to make sure is like, there's news podcasts out there. Let's not be one of those.
Yeah.
And we carved out our niche here, and it's been a fun niche. It's grown. There's definitely been more people that have joined us in this area of Star Wars podcasting. But
isn't that an understatement?
But, you know, it's a lot of fun, and I love what we do here because we are just a bunch of fans having Star Wars conversations that everybody wants to have. You know, and Katie definitely fits right in with all that. So,
Thank you.
Yes. So, whoever you are, JRB Nerdcast. And what I mean by whoever you are, 'cause it's not a full name, so we can't say your full name. But thank you so much for those kind words. And like Jason said, yeah, I mean, that's the thing we've forever prided ourselves on in the almost 8 years of the show is just talking about the things we love about Star Wars. Of course, we've always hit big news items, and we're always going to, because Jason, you and I had only been doing the show for, I don't even think, a full year when they sold to Disney, and we're like, we should probably talk about this.
Probably,
Yeah,
it's a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that's happening. So we'll hit the big news items and stuff like that, but we're not a weekly news podcast in the realm of Star Wars. So,
Right. And there's so many great ones that do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There are plenty of resources for that. Obviously, our flagship show from the network we're part of, the Star Wars Report. I mean, they do a great job of this every week. And they're just one of many. So there's so many good ones out there that do that sort of thing. And our next review comes from A.E. Welling, which this is Rural Farm Boy is his name on Twitter. And he says,
"Oh yeah,
Luke's not a farmer. Oh,
he's got too much of his father in him.
oh man,
That's what I'm afraid of."
that's exactly what we're all afraid of."
But A.E. Welling says, "I remember the Wampa's Lair before Katie came aboard, and it was just as fun back then. Even more so now with her on the show. They take deep and wide dives into all manner of Star Wars topics, from the stories to us as a fandom. Get them in your playlist. Recommended listening." So, thank you,
Awesome.
Rural Farm Boy, and I hope the cows have been good to you. I don't know what kind of farming you do, if you actually do farming.
Nerfs.
But,
Nerfs.
yes, the
Yeah, the
nerfs.
nerfs.
Yeah, hope they're not. Hope they're not hurting you. Oh yeah.
Is it as fun to milk a Thala Siren as it seems? Like, because it looks like fun. Luke seemed to enjoy it.
As long as they don't give you that weird look.
Look at Ray.
Yep.
Ray knows what's up.
So thank you both for, again, taking the time to write those reviews. And again, anybody else that's listening, whether you're a relatively new listener or even you've been listening for a long time, you haven't had the opportunity to write a review, again, we just really appreciate it. It really helps the show. And thank you to all of you who have. Now, guys, we had a really fun poll from our last episode 2 weeks ago. And
Yes.
as always, with a poll such as this, we got quite a plethora of responses because we asked all of you what would be your Star Wars theme song. If you had a theme for yourself, what Star Wars song would you pick? And Jason, I'm sure you had plenty of work to do compiling all of that information. So I hand it over to you, good sir.
All right. Yes. So here we go. Let's buckle up, folks. In fifth place, with one vote each, here's a ton, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the Guardians of the Wills, the Imperial March, the Throne Room from the end of A New Hope, Cantina Band. I'm not sure if it's one or two, but it's the Cantina Band. The Asteroid Field Chase, the Tython theme from Star Wars The Old Republic, When Has Become Now, the Rogue One March, Battle of Christophsis from the Clone Wars movie, Yub Nub,
Yes.
Jyn Erso / Hope, the Departure of Boba Fett from The Empire Strikes Back, Luke and Leia, the Jedi Steps, the Jawas theme, Grievous Speaks to Lord Sidious, which is an underrated piece in my opinion, so I'm glad that made the list, Anakin's theme, Into the Trap from Return of the Jedi, Battle of the Heroes, Rose's theme, particularly the moment from the Battle of Crate soundtrack piece, Across the Stars, and then Carl's vote, Meet Han. So,
Damn right. Yeah. What's that low notes? Like, oh man, I've had a rough upbringing. Things are hard, and I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I'm sitting through this opening crawl while trying to steal a speeder because my life sucks. Nobody cares about me. But you know what? I'm meant for something more. And here we go. You know what it goes like? It goes a little something like this. Oh, yeah. Oh.
There it is.
Oh. Hurry it up. Come on. Come on.
And ladies and gentlemen, this adventure is about to begin.
That's a gym. One of the two.
Sorry, this is the advantage of having the podcast. You get to play your own stuff, so you don't only got one vote.
Carl, is that what you hear when you make a sandwich? Is that
Katie? It's when I make a sandwich. It's when I'm showering. It's when I'm walking to and from the gym. It's when I'm going to the bathroom. It's when I'm taking a shower. It's when I'm petting Embo. It's when I'm talking to girls. It's when I'm doing reports at work. It's everywhere.
I'm just imagining you you're walking down the sidewalk, and you're hanging your head and kicking stones like, I've had a rough upbringing, no one understands me, and then it's like bum 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 bum, and then you're running down the sidewalk. Now you're like, hang on a second, I'm the hero of this story.
It's literally the first it's the first piece of Star Wars music that I ever remember in all of my life of being a Star Wars fan, where I literally sing to it. Even though it's an instrumental piece, I sing to it every time I hear it. I have that soundtrack on repeat in my car. I have the CD for it. First CD I'd bought in over a decade. And it's just, it just pumps me up so much. I had to pick it.
It's
sorry.
good.
Yeah, it's good. So sorry, Jason. Continue. I know that was one vote.
Yeah. It's fine. It's yours, and you get to talk about it because you're on the podcast. In fourth place with 2 votes, we've got the Battle over Coruscant, with the war drums, and then Augie's Grand Municipal Band, which is where my vote went.
Nice.
So I had to make a very difficult choice between several very awesome pieces of music for my theme, and this is the one I chose, was Augie's Grand Municipal Band. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you could see what I do every time it gets played on this podcast. I dance every time, but it is one of those things where, if I walk into a room, I want that to start playing. So, I need that to be my walk-up music whenever I'm doing something. If I'm, it's just, there we go.
There it is.
Jason!
Woo! Woo!
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I told you this is like my trampoline music. This is I always feel like I'm on a trampoline when that music plays. But
yes, it's awesome. It's fun. It's uplifting. There is that hidden dark side to it, which I don't really have. I don't think, although I do get a little devious from time to time. But it's just a fun piece of music, and it always pumps me up every time I hear it. So I could be completely in a mopey mood, and this comes on my iPod on shuffle, and I'm like, okay, mopey mood over. So, but yeah, this is my theme. So, moving on. In third place with 3 votes, we have Ray's theme. In second place with 2 votes, we've got the Force theme / Binary Sunset. And then in first place with 5 votes, including Katie's, we've got Duel of the Fates.
Duel of the Fates. Yes, this is my song. This is my soul, you guys. I feel powerful. You guys feel powerful?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
This is what plays when I enter a room, okay? This is just this is my presence, okay? I'm like an elephant, okay? I enter the room and it's okay, she's in there.
Oh my gosh. That's
fantastic. It me. So I also feel better when I hear that song. It's oh right, I could do anything.
Yes.
Like I doubt myself, and then I hear Jewel of the Fates, and it's like, wait a second,
I can do this.
I'm the hero of this story.
Oh, my
It's
goodness.
good. It's so good. It was actually on my initial short list of like 5 or 6 pieces that I was thinking of using for mine. But yes, yeah,
Oh,
a good
So
piece.
good.
I am not surprised.
Star Wars music. It's so good.
It is
So
so good.
Hot take: Star Wars music is pretty all right. It's, that's the hottest take you're gonna hear all day.
Now we will have a matchup for you at the end of the episode, which is very epic in scale. So certainly stick around for that. Now, my friends, before we hop into the questions we've prepared for one another, I got quick questions for both of you.
Ooh,
What
Yeah.
theme would you subscribe to each other? I'm going to start because I knew this question was coming. Jason,
Okay.
here's the theme I have picked for you. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
This is my Jason Hunt theme. It is the
Yep.
Jar Jar theme. You might be wondering, why is that? Jason just loves Jar Jar. True, Jason does just love Jar Jar. But the reason I picked this as Jason's theme song from Star Wars is because much like Jar Jar, Jason is just a purely good, innocent person who's playful AF. That means AF. Jason is the pinnacle in my experience of every friend I've ever had in the Star Wars community. Jason takes the cake as being the most playful, the most kind-hearted, and the most genuinely pure person I know. Therefore, Jason, my theme song for you is Jar Jar's theme.
I'm turning redder than Darth Maul over here.
Aw.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say, and I love the music, so I appreciate that.
Well, you're very welcome, my friend. I loved picking this for you. Now, Katie, I have a very interesting pick for you, my friend.
Okay.
My theme for Katie Horn, dear friend of mine in the Star Wars world, is a theme that comes from the Clone Wars. You're thinking to yourself, what? But
Oh.
Katie is a Darth Maul girl. You're not wrong. But here's my theme for you, Katie.
Okay.
That's right. My theme for Katie Horn is the Obi-Wan Satine theme from the Clone Wars. And you're probably saying to yourself, geez, Carl, there's nothing about Darth Maul in that anywhere. Well, in part, you're wrong, because Darth Maul does have something to do with this. Katie, the reason I picked this theme for you is because the thing about this theme I love so much is that it's very elegant and beautiful, like you, and it's very dignified and proud and strong, but there is this sense of darkness, this sense of tragedy in it. I don't mean to say that you're a tragic figure, but there is something in your Star Wars story that is always reaching for something more and sometimes not fully fulfilled, yet it always continues to reach because it is strong and proud. That is why I picked this theme for you. Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so swept away by it.
So, because I picked this for Katie,
Oh.
here it is. It gets real beautiful again. Very elegant, very powerful, yet willing to make the sacrifice.
No.
Just so wonderful.
Ah.
And because Katie is such a Darth Maul fan, we can't ignore its use here in Darth Maul Breaks Obi-Wan, where we get a very...
Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, I can see it in my head this episode.
So that is the themes I have picked for the two of you.
I'm gonna cry, Carl. That's so nice.
I did not anticipate getting as many chills as I did listening to that music. That was pretty epic. So
it's a beautiful piece.
It's
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys know that, like, you know, when you ask somebody to like describe themselves, you know, to describe like their face, you know,
yeah,
to you know, like a court, you know, like, the people in court who draw faces, you know,
the sketch artist,
the sketch artist.
Yeah.
So if you describe yourself to a sketch artist, and sketch artists can't see you, you know, they're just going based on what you said, you know, and they'll sketch what you're describing, and that portrait is wholly different than what other people describe if asked to describe you. You know what I mean? And often when other people describe you, the portrait comes out far more flattering. You know, that person that other people see is just so much more beautiful than what you see in yourself. And so listening to that song, Carl, that was very touching. It was like seeing my portrait drawn by someone else, you know. It was that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I needed that. That was beautiful. Thank you.
And like as soon as I was like, oh, there's gonna be a lot of response to this. And as I was writing my questions, I was like, wait a minute, I need a bonus question. And I was immediately thinking of the two of you. I was like, I'm picking themes for them. So I'm calling you out on it. If you don't got it, it's totally fine because I took the time to prepare it. But I just thought it'd be fun. Like if you think of the other, and you know we know each other pretty well at this point. So I mean, it was easy as hell for me. I mean, Katie, like I was like initially, I was like, oh, Duel of Face. I was like, I know she's gonna also pick that for herself, and I was like, she deserves something more. So
God.
And like Jason, you were like, it was like Kate, like easy point. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know what you'd pick for yourself. I thought like this could be a possibility, and if it was, I was like, oh, that'd be fine. But I was like, I also have a feeling he won't pick this. But this is personifies Jason. He is pure good, pure fun, pure innocence. Like that's my boy Jason. So
well, thank you.
Well, I have to admit, I associate Jason strongly with you know the Wampa's Lair. It's the C-3PO and R2-D2 on Hoth, right? The wump bump bump, you know, that we start every episode. I associate Jason with that strongly, and I do feel like that's very Jason. That I don't know what the track is called. I'm sorry.
It's the Droids theme, right?
It is the Droids theme, yeah. And on the soundtrack, oh my goodness, hold on. Let me.
Well, it plays like when they're on Hoth, right?
Yep,
yes.
exactly.
Like walking down the hallway, yeah. I associate that with Jason.
It's honestly only played like twice.
Yeah, it shows up a few times in Empire, and that's it. I mean, the first statement of it is in the track. Let's find this really quick. It's in. Oh my gosh, is it in Wampa's Lair Vision of Obi-Wan or Imperial Probe Aboard the Executor? I don't even remember. This is so sad. But anyway, it's in there.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in there, but yeah.
And there's another song that I associate real strong with Carl. I'm just all like, that's Carl, that's his soul, like right there. Like, do you know what it is?
Is it from Solo?
No, it's from Nickelback.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Which song is that?
Look at this photograph.
Every time I do, it makes me laugh. Yeah. I'll take it. I transcend Star Wars.
I don't know. I don't even know the words to that song, so I just end up getting like, every time I do it makes me laugh. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
Oh gosh.
Carl, that's your soul, Carl.
I love it. It is my soul. I am definitely guilty of loving some old school nostalgia.
Well,
what?
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. Your eyes get so red.
Oh, this is me like.
And what the hell is on Joey's head?
What is on Joey's head? I don't know. But
It's just, Carl, that's so you. It is like, it's, it's playful, but it's also like, just kind of like a little nostalgic, like a little sad, but but just like trying to have a good time over here. That's you, Carl.
I love
Oh
it.
my
Thank
gosh.
you. I love it. I'm honored.
And Jason, you're droids, and
He
you're
is.
just
Yes.
you're doing your best.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I will take that all day, any day. Both of those. So thank you. I do have some ideas, and I might be able to come up with something else if I had more time to think about this. But these are the things that popped into my mind initially. So I'll go with them. Carl, this one is pretty on brand. It's Yoda's theme.
Yeah.
So
Woo!
yeah,
Take it.
that's pretty on brand. I don't. We've had enough conversations on this podcast that I don't really need to explain why that comes to my head when we talk about Carl. But it does. It's awesome, and I do associate that with you a lot because I know it's one of your favorite pieces of music, but also because you bring so much of of your own theological journey into our Star Wars conversations, which I love. And so I'm really glad that we get to have that side of this podcast, and we yes, we get to bring that in and have our own different perspective on things because of that. And Katie, I really wish I had more time to think of something very appropriate for you, but the one that popped into my head initially is the Holdo maneuver, the music from the
snap.
Holdo maneuver.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Which is super awesome and good. And that, honestly, that's some of the most pumped up music I get from The Last Jedi. Because it's powerful and it's determined. But it's also, for me, when I listen to it, it also just gets me pumped up and energized. So, and honestly, every time I'm done talking with you, I'm happy, I'm pumped up. There's so much energy.
Nice. Oh man, that feels like me. That feels like walking into a room. Like,
Yep. That's what happens every time Katie comes into a room. Katie is the Star Wars equivalent of the Kool-Aid Man. Just bursting through the walls,
like,
ready to
hey.
have a good time. So
Who mentioned Darth Maul?
Yeah.
Who did it?
oh my gosh! And
Oh my
so
gosh, I love it.
that's why that music comes to my mind for
I
Katie.
can't believe it's been a week since I talked to you guys. I missed you guys so much.
Oh, I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah, same.
Oh my gosh. So we've got questions for everybody that we haven't actually got to yet. Who wants to go first?
Well, gosh, I'll go first. Why not?
Okay.
Do
Yeah?
it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just, I'm pretty sure, we decided to have this episode, this kind of chillaxed episode, because we were thinking about when you guys were, in California last. And we were just like driving in the car.
Yes.
And it's like, what are we going to talk about? We just like start like coming up with like random Star Wars stuff. And it's just like,
Yeah.
why don't we talk like we were in the car? Like, let's just do it. And I remember one of our like, favorite things when we were in the car, we were having Star Wars dinner, so you can invite
Yes.
5 Star Wars characters to your perfect Star Wars dinner. And what's it going to be? And I came up with like a ton of them. I was like, okay, I want to have like fancy Star Wars dinner where I only invite the fanciest people. So like Kira, Kira,
Padme.
Lando, Padme. You've seen her wardrobe. She's super
Yeah.
fancy. So like, I was like having fancy we had like a ton of different dinners and it was great. But for specifically, just for the podcast, I want to know you're having Star Wars dinner, but you only get one, like who's the one Star Wars person? It could be a character, or it could be like George Lucas, it could be someone who influences Star Wars or has been in Star Wars, like writes for Star Wars. Like, who is the one
For
that
me,
you invite to dinner? Yeah.
for me, it would obviously be Ooh, no.
No? Oh.
John Williams.
Oh, is it John
Ooh.
Williams? It's a John Williams dinner.
I was
Okay.
about to say George Lucas, but then I was like, that's obvious, and obviously, yes, I would love to have that conversation. But I feel like I would really want to have that a conversation with John Williams, because he doesn't talk a lot outside of interviews, and so official interviews is basically all we really get of John Williams when it comes to any sort of public discussion. And not that I think he's editing himself or anything, but he's a very quiet and shy person, and I would really want to have a conversation with him about the process of what it takes to make a theme for people, for characters, and especially when you don't know where exactly they're going to end up, because his themes have room to breathe and have room to be defined by what happens to the future of the characters. For Ray's theme, for instance, is the most recent one I can really think of, because it was such a really full and complete sounding thing in Force Awakens, but it still has this room in it to be redefined by The Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker as to what it all ultimately means for her. And so it's just an interesting thing. I would love to sit down to a dinner with John Williams.
What would you eat?
Oh, I feel like it would probably be some sort of like, it wouldn't be super fancy, because he grew up doing, the jazz bars and stuff. So I feel like it would be some sort of like,
club sandwiches.
Some club sandwiches.
I feel like John Williams is a pasta man. I feel like he just loves pasta.
Yeah. Something like at a bar and grill type of thing.
Sure.
But that kind of stuff. I feel like that would be the thing. Obviously, if you're going to have the dinner with George Lucas, you'd go to a diner, an old 50s diner, something like that, and have milkshakes and hamburgers. But
what a cup of Java juice.
right, exactly. But John Williams, I feel like you'd go to a bar and grill. Maybe something a little higher end, but like a bar and grill.
Yeah,
I feel like would be.
I love it.
A good place.
I love it.
So.
Well,
what about you, Carl?
Well, since you opened it up beyond characters, because I was going back and forth between Luke and Qui-Gon, but since you opened it beyond characters, I'm going to go with the stereotype. I'm George Lucas all the way.
Yeah.
There are three human beings in this world that I would give anything to meet and have a 1 hour conversation with. And number 2 on my list is George Lucas. Number 1 is Rob Thomas. I just love him so much. He's a musician. But and number 3 is David W. Collins. I want him on this show so freaking bad. And I'm not even kidding. I love that man so much, even though I don't know him. But no, definitely George Lucas. Obviously, right, we talked about this after when we did our recap of our trip to California and Rancho. That print of George that was hanging in Rancho with the 2 droids flanking him. I am just so mesmerized by George Lucas. I mean, yes, kind of more specifically in his younger days. And the reason is because this is an adult whose imagination changed the world. And is someone who is also very imaginative and very much tries to foster my own imagination, specifically as an adult, and using my imagination to enhance my life and hopefully enhance the world around me. George is, to me, the pinnacle of someone who's done that. Yes, like he's a little bit more crotchety in his older age, but everybody is. But George Lucas is, this is a man who just had dreams and a sense of wonder that he shared with us, and it changed the freaking world. And in my opinion, changed it for the so much better. And I would give anything to sit down with him, and it would literally just be like burgers and French fries and Coca-Cola, and
a Snickers for dessert. Yeah.
And just talk to George about just getting a deeper sense of what fuels his imagination, where that came from, how he, as a man in his late 20s and early 30s, who was still so consciously in touch with that childhood part of himself, yet able to allow it to mature into this beautiful sense of wonder that he then passed on to specifically to children in the world, but specifically to the children that exist within every adult as well, right? What he did in this world, in the same way that people probably are fascinated with Walt Disney. That to me is George Lucas. George Lucas is the pinnacle of living out an imagination that changed the world, and that, that just his wonder fills me with wonder. So I would give anything to have a conversation with him. So, but what about you, Katie? I think these are fun questions that we come up for each other, but I also want to know who you would pick.
My Star Wars dinner is really specific. It is 4 a.m. and I'm in an IHOP with Sam Witwer.
Nice.
It's specific.
Yeah.
Okay, specifically, it's 4 a.m. in an IHOP because 4 a.m. in an IHOP is like just like it's perfect. Okay, one we're eating pancakes, my favorite food.
Of course,
like it's pancakes. And at 4 a.m. in an IHOP, nobody's bothering you. You know what I mean? The plate, there's no one else in there. So like you could just eat pancakes until the sun comes up, and they just leave you alone. It's great. It's perfect. Pretty sure that's what heaven looks like. It's just 4 a.m. at an IHOP all the time. You know what I mean? And the pancakes are fresh. That's and I'm there.
It's a deleted scene in the Book of Revelation. IHOP in heaven. Yeah. And behold, I opened the 8th seal, and it was IHOP. Sorry, Gabe.
Buttermilk pancakes.
But yeah, so I'm there. It's 4 a.m. I'm eating fluffy, delicious golden pancakes, and Sam Witwer walks in and sits down in my booth. And it's just like, let's talk. It's just like, perfect. Yes, thank you. Okay, it's Sam Witwer because he is legitimately, I think, the only person who could theoretically keep up with me when talking about Darth Maul. And I say theoretically because even then, sometimes I'm not sure. That's the question. Do I know more about Maul than Sam Witwer does? But I wonder sometimes.
I bet you in a way you do, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing that I think Sam Witwer has that would fascinate you is he's also inhabited the role for so long, right? So his perspective of the character is one in which he's lived within the character. He's had to interpret the character. So, and I don't mean this in like a way of diminishing your perspective, but your perspective is it's always going to be from the outside, and you can know everything about him. And you do.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
I can ask him about. Sam's got this intimate knowledge that you just don't have, and I would love to watch that conversation.
Yeah, right. You're not even there. You're just across the IHOP listening in. You're like,
Jason and I are just sitting over there,
Carl and I are sitting over
drinking
there.
milkshakes.
Yep, drinking milkshakes, just watching.
Just watching us, just go off about Maul. That's exactly it. I could ask him about all of his artistic choices and what direction did Dave Filoni give him. And Sam Witwer, he always talks about how stingy George Lucas is with compliments. He's not a very complimentary guy, but apparently George Lucas himself looked at something that Sam Witwer did and said, "That's brilliant." And I'm like, but what? Sam Witwer has never said what it is that George Lucas thought was brilliant. And I'm all like, tell me, Sam. Sam, come to dinner, eat pancakes. Tell me what was brilliant about Darth Maul and your performance. That would be a conversation, and it would be amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would
pay money to see it.
Yeah, right. Well, I'd like to think that Sam Witwer would get something out of talking to me, like a Darth Maul, not just a Darth Maul. Everybody likes Darth Maul, right? But I know Maul.
Yeah,
that can be I'd be like, did you see this one sketch that Dave Filoni did of Darth Maul as a stag? Did you? Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
he probably has. So
yeah, right. Exactly.
I love it.
It would be a good conversation. It'd be amazing.
Yes.
So, as we continue on, if you're listening, please, think about, this is such a fun question, Katie. So who would you, again, if you're listening, who would you sit down, if there's one person in the Star Wars world, character, creator, whatever, who would it be? And again, when this episode's posted, please feel free to share your answers to these questions, because it's always so fun to hear what other folks have to say.
100%. My gosh.
Definitely. Definitely.
So, Jason, you want to go into your first question?
Sure. And this is going to be a fun, quick, goofy one, just to continue the silliness, because we all need some more of that.
Do you want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Bye, Jason.
Anyway.
Bye.
Later, Jason.
Okay, so we've had some great examples of both of these in Star Wars. Which would you rather be wearing? An awesome hooded cloak or a fantastic cape?
Cloak.
Cape.
1,000%
cloak. Yes, definitely cloak as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why were you leaning cape? Like, I'm sorry, but first thought is often best thought. So why cape?
No,
why?
I literally didn't mean to say that. I got excited for because I thought honestly, Katie, I thought you were going to say cape, so I was planning to just say the opposite of what you said because I thought you'd say cape. So I said the opposite of what you said, but I didn't realize you were going to say cloak.
Well, see, like, okay, don't get me wrong. I love capes. Like, I look at Krennic and I'm just all like, that is a sexy cape. That is excellent.
Krennic has, in my opinion, Krennic has the best cape in all of Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's pretty legit.
Yeah, and that's not knocking anybody. I mean, every cape in Star Wars is awesome, but I think Krennic has the coolest cape.
It's a lot of capes.
Yes,
maybe too many capes.
Maybe too many. Yeah,
but hood, like, come on, cloak. You get the cool hood, and you can draw it over your face, and then it's all like, "Who's that under there? I don't know."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It'd be all mysterious. I could flip it back, the dramatic reveal. Like, I'm sorry.
Also, like, really quick, like, how neat too that in the beginning of Phantom Menace, the first people we see with hooded cloak capes are the Jedi,
right.
and they have their faces are the ones that are, all before we even see Sidious, who's this mysterious figure with a really deep, cloak. The Jedi are the first to be the ones hidden in secrecy, which I just think is kind of neat.
Well, I think it's cool. I also think it was supposed to reference old Ben Kenobi pulling back his hood in A New Hope.
Yeah,
because we don't see him at first either.
That's
We're all like, "Wait, who's that? What's going on?" And then he like flips back his hood, and it's a kindly old man.
Yeah,
like, okay, all right.
Don't worry, he'll be all right.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Yes. Oh man.
Wouldn't it be funny when he said hello there to R2 and he just goes, General Kenobi!
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Bull spit, you don't remember me.
Yeah, right? It's just, I don't recall owning a droid. I don't recall you either.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I have been back and forth on this, on what I would pick all day long. I don't know, honestly. At this point, though, because I'm feeling ostentatious, I would probably pick cape.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I like it. That makes sense for you.
At this point, I'm feeling a little ostentatious. I need some sort of like flair and flourish. And I mean, Krennic's got the awesome cape. Dooku's got an incredible cape. I mean, we've seen Lando in his short capes and stuff like that. But like, I think just a little cape action never hurt anybody. But
you're not wrong.
But I would totally have some cloaks in my closet too. So I honestly both. But today I'm picking cape. So, but yeah, that's my real quick, fun question.
You're valid, Jason.
I like
You're
it.
valid.
Yes. All right, Carl.
All right.
What about you?
Mine is not as quick and silly. Sorry. So my question for the two of you is, what Star Wars movie what is your go-to Star Wars movie when you're just having kind of a rough time? Like, things are just a little rough, things are a little heavy in life, and this is the Star Wars movie you go to in those experiences.
Ooh. It's usually one of two. And honestly, if I'm just needing a bit of a Star Wars pick-me-up, I generally will just skip to a sequence or a scene or something that I want to watch. And it's usually, either the last half of Return of the Jedi or the battle sequences of Attack of the Clones. To be perfectly honest, that's for me. I'm like, I just want some fun action and adventure, and it depends on whether I want, a little bit of mythology with that or not. If I want a little bit of mythology, I'll go Return of the Jedi. If I just want to see lightsabers swinging and fun action, I go to Attack of the Clones. So those don't we all just want to see some lightsabers swinging? Yes, yes, we do. But honestly, those are the two things. If I've had a rough day, those are my two go-tos. Although I will say that Rogue One is starting to work its way into that.
I don't mean to sound like, because I love Rogue One, but when I say really, I'm like, because it's kind of a downer. That's what I mean when I say really.
I mean, the last third, the Scarif stuff. I mean, yeah, it is a bit of a downer, but it also is just so inspirational and so beautifully done that it's. And sometimes I want to feel some sort of emotional connection with what I'm doing.
I want to feel things.
Just want to feel it a little bit, but I end up better at the end. But yeah, Rogue One's starting to make its way into that rotation, but usually it's either the battle sequences of Return of the Jedi or Attack of the Clones. So
nice, I like that. I mean, that makes sense too, because Return of the Jedi is something that just it's a very joyful ending, which is a kind of a nice reminder that love wins. The victory is always on the joyful side. And Attack of the Clones is it's this escape. It's the escape from maybe what's ridiculous going on, but it's the escape for you because it's this something just exciting, high adventure, and it's just something to lose yourself in and fill you with a sense of excitement, maybe to counter. So I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. What about you, Katie?
This is such a cheat, but it's literally like any part of the Phantom Menace or any part of The Last Jedi. Because I just like to turn it on and just have it in the background. It's very comforting to me, to just be surrounded by Star Wars noise. Yeah, particularly, The Phantom Menace or The Last Jedi. And especially since, The Last Jedi's on Netflix right now, all I have to do is turn on Netflix, and, wherever I pause The Last Jedi, I can just hit play and just go from any scene. If I'm going to, specifically sit down and look for a scene, I mean, it's real obvious. I watch Duel of the Fates a lot just because it's very cool for me. I still feel excited when I watch it. And in The Last Jedi, I just go right for the Reylo scenes. when they're touching hands, or fighting back to back. Yeah, those are my go-to scenes for Phantom and Last Jedi. But I can watch those movies anywhere from any point. Just go, and I immediately feel better.
Yeah.
I like that.
What about you, Carl?
Well, like the two of you, I also have two answers. It's if it's just crazy busy, just kind of feeling overwhelmed, it's Phantom Menace, because Phantom Menace to me is just very light and fun. And it just allows me to feel playful and just remember the sense that everything is always steeped in this goodness. So Phantom Menace is just that light fun movie when things are just crazy busy or crazy heavy. But my go-to when things are just really rough and I'm feeling overwhelmed in a different way, it's definitely always Empire Strikes Back. Because first off, Empire Strikes Back is what made me fall in love with Star Wars, so it always reminds me of what kindled my love for this thing. And secondly, Empire Strikes Back to me, the main theme of this story is that you can get beaten down as much as deep down, you can get beat down as worse as it gets, but that it's still going to be okay. And that's ultimately why I love The Empire Strikes Back so much, is that's its theme. No matter how hard things are, no matter how much the Empire has beaten me and hunted me down and frozen me in carbonite, cut off my hand, taken away the person that finally confessed their love for me, I know that I'll be okay. And that's why Empire Strikes Back just will always be that type of movie for me. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So all right. Well, we're back around to you, Katie.
Oh gosh, we're back around to me. Oh no. Gosh, I'm so boring. I was gonna ask you guys what your favorite puppet is in Star Wars.
Oh,
Not boring.
What's your favorite puppet? There's a lot of good puppets.
oh, there are a lot of good puppets.
I already know my answer.
Okay.
Go for it.
Max
Yeah.
Rebo. Is he a
Okay,
puppet?
okay.
Is he a puppet?
He's
Yeah.
got to technically
he's a puppet.
maybe.
Or
Wait,
is
is a guy in a suit? Is that the same
No,
thing?
Could be.
no.
No.
He's got to be a puppet. There's not enough room. I mean, I think like there's actual arms in his hands and stuff, but I'm pretty sure like it's he's still puppeteered.
Ooh,
So-
although I have like 3 Yoda action figures glaring at me right now.
They're all like, excuse you. And I'm just all
They're all
like,
looking at you very
And
disapprovingly.
I'm sure a lot of you listening right now are also screaming, Max Rebo's not a puppet. But that was just the first thing I thought of, Katie, when you asked it, because I was like, I
that's
love
fair.
Max Rebo. And I love Max Rebo so much. Like he's so adorable and cute, and he's just a musician, and he's in the worst place he could be, which is Jabba's palace, and Jabba sucks. But he's just doing his best to make his music. I also, even though I don't remember all the details because it's been a long time, I always loved the Max Rebo band story in Tales from Jabba's Palace, that old Kevin J. Anderson book from the mid '90s. I love Max Rebo. I love the look of him. I love that he's a little blue elephant man who, even though he's in like a horrible space, is just doing his best to just feel the music and get into the music. And yeah, I love little blue Max Rebo. How about you, Jason?
Oh man, I mean, yeah. I'm not going to say Yoda because Yoda is a character to me less than a puppet. He transcends puppet to me sometimes, so I'm not going to say Yoda. I am going to say C-3PO in the backpack.
Ooh,
Empire Strikes
Oh,
Back.
nice. That's so cool. I love it.
Because he is
why did I think of that?
basically they put a bunch of C-3PO together in there, and then they used fishing line to turn his head back and forth and wiggle his arm a little bit while he's in the backpack on Chewie's back. I think that's just it's so random and low budget and low key way to do things, but it works so well and nobody noticed. It's like.
Yeah.
And yet it still feels like 3PO. So like I love that. And yeah, so I'm gonna say 3PO in the backpack.
I love
It's my
it.
favorite pup.
That's so great.
I don't. It never occurred to me until this exact moment that that's a puppet. Like, it's just like when you're like nobody noticed. I'm galaxy brain over here. That's how much I didn't notice. Like, I'm a grown ass woman who just kind of assumed that they actually got Anthony Daniels in there somehow. Like, no. Oh my gosh,
Yes,
that's the magic of movies.
It really is.
Oh my
But yeah,
god.
what about you? What's your favorite puppet, Katie?
Oh my gosh, I'm so obvious. It's Salacious B. Crumb. Like,
Ooh.
That's good.
That's
That's
such an
good.
obvious call, though. But I love him so much. He's so cute. Like,
Oh,
he's got that little laugh. I know. And just he's a Kowakian monkey lizard, right?
yep.
Yes. And I only know that because in Star Wars: The Old Republic, my favorite Star Wars video game, you can at me. I don't care. You can get one as a pet, and it follows you around, and then there's like a whole mission where a monkey lizard like steals your data chip, and you have to go get it, but then you turn the corner, and everybody has a monkey lizard, and so you're like running up to people and accosting their monkey lizards to try and get the data chip, and this one woman shouts, "Hands off the monkey lizard!" And I'm like, "Oh, that's what they're called. They're monkey lizards." Okay.
That's so great. You picked. So, if Salacious B. Crumb is probably one of my least favorite characters in Star Wars. I hate him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you hate him?
And I don't mean this to be like, oh, if you like him, you suck.
Just because
But,
he's annoying.
I find him so annoying, and which is
Maybe that's why I like him. Maybe I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't explain it.
So,
just 'cause he's so cute.
did I tell you, the two of you, this? So when we got to watch that, how I got into the Mandalorian panel for Celebration, the clip from an episode they showed us, and hopefully you don't mind me sharing this. I mean, people probably have already talked about it, but there is a scene where the Mandalorian is walking through like the city streets, and you see a monkey lizard being fried on an open fire, and another one's in the cage next to it watching it, terrified.
Oh my gosh!
And first off, that's really dark, but my thought was yes, because I hate the monkey lizard, so I was like yes, I loved it, which is dark as heck, but
that's really dark, but I love it because it's also kind of Star Wars, like
Star Wars.
It's so Star Wars. Oh my gosh,
That's good.
We saw droids being tortured in Jabba's palace. You know what I mean? So it's kind of Star Wars to be like vaguely horrifying.
Yes, vaguely horrifying Star Wars, vaguely horrifying since 1977.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for real. And
I think for me, it's because he's adorable, so his annoyingness just circles back around to being cute. Like I think it's like Minions. Minions are like so hit and miss with people. Like I think they're super annoying, but then other people are like, yeah, but they're so cute. They're allowed to be annoying. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and you know what? You know who else gets tortured?
No. Is it us sitting to Nickelback?
I've been shot!
It's my boy Han Solo. Poor Han. Let's get to those, poor Han anguish screams. Leave my boy alone.
Only you.
Yep. Only Carl. Only Carl, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. That's what the Wampas will forever be remembered for.
It'll be remembered for how fun the two of you are, and it'll be hated for my playing that.
Let's not go there.
Wait, guys.
What?
Is the Wampa puppet?
No. Technically, no. Yeah.
Partially.
There's somebody.
Well, it's Claw, in that one scene. That's, what I mean? That's like
when he's out, when he attacks Luke, the claw is his own. It's a puppeteered arm.
Yeah.
And the mouth and face is a puppet as they bring it in. But then when they're actually in the cave, it's a guy in a suit.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure actually when it is the face, when it shows up and like attacks the Tauntaun and Luke, that there was also a guy in that suit too. So I don't know that is just a puppet as well.
Wait a second. Is the Tauntaun a puppet?
Yes.
I don't know what's real and what's puppets.
Yeah.
Real, not so
real.
We're gonna play real puppet, puppet, not so puppet.
If we're gonna go that far, I might put in Rancor.
Yeah,
because Rancor is a puppet.
Yeah. Wait, I think the Tauntaun is a puppet. The head.
Yeah,
that might actually be my favorite puppet because Tauntauns are. I love Tauntauns. You guys. I love Tauntaun. No, you guys look at me. I'm gripping my screen right now. Like look me in the eye. I love Tauntauns.
She's going to go to Disneyland and go to Galaxy's Edge and get all the Tauntaun plushes.
Yes. Oh, my God.
It'll
just be like wobble, wobble, wobble. Like the whole time. Wobble, wobble. I can't. Oh my gosh! Like, never watch Empire Strikes Back with me because it's just me making Tauntaun noises the entire time. Luke gets his head cut off. I'm like wobble wobble.
I love you. All right.
What?
I do my next question
What's your next question?
Okay. Okay. Here's a fun one. If you were given creative control over a new Star Wars project, what medium would you use and what story would you tell?
Oh, I know this.
Do you want me to go first or do you have an answer?
You go last. It's your question.
I have an answer that I would give if you need time to think.
Nope.
So,
I mean, one pops to my head immediately, and it's so obvious. People are going to be like, "Oh, Katie, shut up about it already."
Maul and Kira.
Maul and Kira.
Yeah.
Maul and Kira. Crimes. Just like doing crimes, being sexy, and doing crimes. That's it. That's. Just,
what medium would you use? Film, cartoon, or film animation, comics?
No, novel? It would have to be a TV show. It would have to be, Game of Thrones style, like 10 episodes to really tell this story. oh my gosh, Han can cameo, maybe. I don't know. Actually, kind of part of me just wants, I'm sorry, Alden, you're beautiful, but this isn't your story.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, you know? Well, I mean, I feel like Kira still has some stuff to resolve, but she can resolve her feelings about Han, like, on her own. She doesn't need Han there to do that, you know? And then Darth Maul's there. Like,
yeah.
And then that's like, you know, that's actually my pitch for any Star Wars project is, and then Darth Maul's there.
Well, I mean, George Lucas got it to fly with Clone Wars. Let's bring back Darth Maul.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. Like, just figure it out. That's my pitch.
Yeah.
Kira, Darth Maul, doing crime. That's the story. Send tweet.
Retweet.
Retweet. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Carl. Thank you for your support.
What about you, Carl?
Mine would definitely be the formation of the Jedi. And specifically, like, I want to see that temple built on Octo. And also, like you, Katie, I want this as a TV miniseries. You know what? I only want it as one season, too. Like, I want it to be like a 10 to 12 episode season, 45 to 50-minute episodes, and see the formation of the Jedi. I want to see the first folks that became consciously aware of this thing called the Force, how they found each other, how they decided to create this temple, and then pass on the teachings and ways of the Force. That is the story I want more than anything. And in my ideal sense of that story, the galaxy is kind of tumultuous at the time, right? There's this sense of chaos going on as the galaxy is trying to figure itself out, and the Jedi are part of what brings that about. Their knowledge of the Force and their way of helping to form kind of this sense of order out of chaos. So obviously, yes, as a person of faith, like that's to me like super Genesis 1, right? Out of chaos becomes there is this order created. And like that's how I'd love to see the Jedi Order coming into existence, is in this space of chaos, this space of just mess and disorder, and somehow their communion with the Force and their communion with one another is somehow what forms a sense of order in the galaxy at large. So again, in a very Star Wars way, this microcosm story of something small and intimate, and yet it has this macro impact on the galaxy at large. So that's the story I would love to see.
Carl, that's so perfect. I want to change my answer. Can I change my answer? Okay, no, because so you get that, right? And it's one season and it's great.
Yeah.
But then as the sequel, season 2 is when the Sith split off from the Jedi, because we know, that the Sith split from the Jedi. Yeah.
Right.
So we see the Sith split off and go establish Malachor. You know what I mean? That Sith temple.
Yes.
Oh, that's it. That's
so
the
good.
show, you guys.
Boom.
Yeah. So these people that were once Jedi, and they're all like, no, we're not about that anymore.
Yeah.
We're not about that. And like writing the Sith code, which like,
Yes.
you look at the Sith code and it really is just kind of like a reply to the Jedi code. It
Right,
looks like it was written in direct response to the Jedi code, where the Jedi code is like, there is no ignorance, there is knowledge, there is no chaos, there's peace. And the Sith are over here going like, there is no peace. The peace is a lie.
Right.
Like straight out the gate, peace is a lie. That's like item 1. Like I want to see them like sitting down and being all like, this is our thing over here now, and maybe even. Because we don't know how long the Sith were on Malachor before the Jedi were all like, those Sith, not sure we can abide, not sure we could just let them be over there. And the Jedi attack them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Jedi go over there to just completely, they just want to eradicate all the Sith on Malachor. And I want to see like that fight. All those lightsabers, like
So
that's season 2.
Season 3, because we got to do a trilogy at this point. It's Star Wars.
Okay, season 3.
Season 3 is Darth Bane and the creation of the Rule of 2.
Ooh,
so we see
yeah.
Season 1 is the establishment of the Jedi. Season 2 is the establishment of the Sith. Season 3, though, is kind of this reaction to the Jedi losing their way in a sense, because they've created a sense of violence. The Sith kind of go underground So, right, we recapture the glory of season 1. The Jedi are, back in control, yet because of their violence, there's this phantom menace.
Yes.
Right? So
Hire
I love
us.
this.
Yeah.
I love
So
this.
much.
That's some good stuff there, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, that's the show.
That's the show.
what do
Although
you got?
I for a long time I wanted to do some sort of a Dooku story, but I think a lot of that's been taken by Dooku Jedi Lost, the audio drama that came out. So I'm gonna set that on the back shelf for now. But I do want to do a standalone movie, and I've got 2 ideas that I would want to do.
Okay.
Number one, I'm going to want to do sort of a retelling of the Plagueis novel, Sidious's rise to becoming the master, the Sith master. I do think that would be a fascinating story to tell. It would be dark, but it would be fascinating to tell. The other one is going to be more of a fun adventure, and I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but I want to jump back several hundred years to about a 300 or 400-year-old Yoda going on an adventure where he runs into a pirate gang and has to team up with Maz Kanata. Yeah, I want to see that story. I want to see that story of a Yoda with dark brown hair and maybe a goatee.
He's going through a punk phase, so he's got a lip ring. He's got he's got snake bites, and he's oh my gosh, that's why he has all the snake. No, literally, he walks around with a snake draped over his shoulders, he's in a Madonna video or something. I don't know,
But yes, I want to do one of those. I want to do a standalone movie on one of those ideas. So that's what I would do.
I love it. Those are both awesome. Yeah,
we get to see Yoda's super secret back tattoo. He's got a whole back tattoo,
and it's of a Gungan.
Yes.
Yeah.
First love.
Yeah.
She broke his heart, man.
She did. And that's why he decided to stay with the Jedi.
No,
my gosh.
yeah.
All right. So my next question for the two of you is: Can you name something from any avenue of Star Wars? So any of the media, it could be from a film, TV show, novel, whatever. Something that was introduced in Star Wars that you initially really didn't like, had trouble accepting, but came to this place of acceptance, and it actually enhanced your understanding of Star Wars. So these aren't my ideas, but quick examples would be Luke in Last Jedi or Jar Jar Binks in Phantom Menace, right? People initially might have despised these things, but come around to it and found that it enhanced their Star Wars experience. So is there anything in that realm that you can think of?
Oh no. My answer, okay, so right out the gate, I was like DJ, because my gut reaction to DJ was, I don't really like this guy. I don't really get what he's doing in the movie. But I came around on him pretty quickly, the next day, right? I saw The Last Jedi, came out, was I don't know about DJ. The next day I saw the movie again and was I love DJ. He's my son. But so when I think, and I'm honest with myself, I'm oh no, I actually really didn't like Ahsoka and Ezra when they first happened.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
I really did not like Ahsoka and Ezra at all. I guess it's maybe because they both start as 14-year-old characters, and they just didn't click with me on that level. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They both start off so immature, and I understand they are on an arc. They're gonna learn, they're gonna grow, but the place where they start is just so unlikable to me, and it grated me. I just did not appreciate them. But then they do learn and they do grow, and now I love them. They're precious to me.
Yeah.
But I have to admit that when they both first started, I was pretty, I guess, narrow-minded about them and was nope, they're too annoying. I want none of this. And then Darth Maul shows up, and I love them now. Oh no, that's exactly what happened, because Darth Maul showed up in the Clone Wars, and I was maybe I should give this a second try. Oh, it's actually great. Same with Rebels. Oh, Darth Maul's in it now? I love it, and it's great.
Nice.
What about you, Jason?
Oh man, this is really hard because I honestly do my best to not,
Sure, Jason, we get it. Like, you like to accept everything as best you can. But what is it?
You're Jar Jar, because Jason is actually
That's true.
Jar Jar. He's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I just met
I
you.
really
You're my
try.
best
I really try. But this isn't something that I've had like a super strong reaction to one way or the other. But I do go back and forth a lot of times, in my opinion, on Grievous.
Okay.
He was, honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, whatever. They needed another villain for, because they killed Dooku. But then, as my enjoyment of Dooku grew, I was like, why do they have to kill Dooku so quickly? I mean, I understand plot-wise why they had to do that, because they had to give Anakin that line to step over at the beginning of the movie when Obi-Wan was unconscious. But I've never been a huge fan of Grievous in general. He's never been a favorite character of mine. I don't necessarily hate him, but I'm just like, he's Grievous. He's the he's a wannabe Jedi Sith acolyte thing, and I don't he's dangerous to regular people, but not really to the Jedi, and I don't understand why he rose to such prominence in the Separatist kind of a thing. I've never been a big fan of him. However, when I step back and I look through the evolution of Palpatine's apprentices and associates on the way to Anakin becoming Darth Vader, he definitely holds a very, key position in that sort of like arc, because he is more machine than man. He's even more machine than man than Vader is. And there are elements to Vader in each of Sidious's apprentices and lackeys throughout the prequels, Maul, Dooku, and Grievous. Mm-hmm. There's elements to each of them that end up being in Anakin Darth Vader. And when I look at it in sort of that progression, he is sort of that last piece that falls into place as we get to Darth Vader. And I do appreciate him for that. So, but I've never been a big fan of Grievous. He's sort of like, meh.
Sure.
So.
Right there with you.
So, but yeah, that's my answer for that.
So when I wrote up this question, I had two answers, and my first response was still Luke and Last Jedi. But I still struggle a lot with him in that movie. Like, there's a lot of me that understands it and thinks it makes sense, but the part that I still have a hard time reconciling is Luke cutting himself off from the Force. I still kind of intellectually get it, and I don't think it's a bad choice or that Rian Johnson screwed up the character. It's not the choice I would have made, and therefore, it makes me hard to accept it. So I was like, well, this can't be my answer because it hasn't enhanced my understanding of Star Wars. It's something I still kind of grapple with. And again, this is not me trying to hate on Luke in Last Jedi. I think he's a great character in Last Jedi. It's a different route than I still, in my own head, canon see it. That's all. But the one that then the immediate one though that really enhanced it was actually something I really initially disliked, was Satine's character in Clone Wars, and this notion that Obi-Wan had a relationship while a Jedi. Because in my mind, Obi-Wan has always been the consummate, perfect version of what a Jedi was supposed to be in the Old Republic.
Yes.
So when they brought in this character Satine and indicated that he at one point had feelings and even considered leaving the Jedi Order, my initial thought back in the mid 2000s when we got that story was this is ridiculous. That's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. But that is something I have come to love so much, because I like it so much more because it makes Obi-Wan so human. And I love that about him. I think it's my favorite. It's actually probably my favorite thing about Obi-Wan Kenobi's character at this point is I love the fact that he is someone who fell in love. and yet still chose to stay in the Jedi, just like she chose to stay, active in political, power. And they both, while falling in love, both still made the sacrifice of choosing kind of these incredibly selfless paths. I feel like Obi-Wan firmly believed that while he would have been very happy and fulfilled with Satine, it wouldn't have been his fullest understanding of himself. And same with Satine. Right. Satine knowing that if she goes with Obi-Wan, it impedes her from her impact that she's trying to have on Mandalore. And this just like mutual respect of each other, doing what they feel is best. So I love what that did for Obi-Wan's character. And it specifically makes me love him even more in his relationship with Anakin. So I really love that we got that relationship between Obi-Wan and Satine.
Yeah,
nice.
It posits. It's a good contrast to Anakin and Padme. Because when we're finding out about Obi-Wan and Satine, Anakin and Padme are already married, right?
Right.
So it's just very interesting how Satine and Obi-Wan like made their choice, and even though it seems like Anakin and Padme have made their choice as well, they haven't. They have neither committed fully to this relationship, nor have they committed fully to their commitments, their duties. And so it's very, very interesting to see, what these two different relationships. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I forgot to say what Ahsoka and Ezra like. How they enhanced my Star Wars, even though I didn't like them as much at first. Ahsoka, I think, her walking away from the Jedi Order, and that impact that it had on Anakin, and then her eventual reunion with Anakin in Rebels, I think, has greatly enhanced my appreciation of Anakin. Just, seeing what he lost and seeing him turn on Ahsoka. He wants to completely kill his past.
Yes.
A lot like Kylo Ren, let the past die. When he finally sees Ahsoka again, he would rather kill her than make any sort of step towards reconciliation. And that to me just makes what Luke is able to do even more profound, because Anakin can't change for Ahsoka, but he does change for his son, which is just like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same for Ezra because of what he does for Maul's character. Maul is given this chance to have a real apprentice, not like his brother who, he ground down beneath his heel, but this kid who actually like wants to listen to him and hears what he's saying. And Maul is at a place in his life where he can, he's not like, oh, you're my apprentice now, I need to grind you beneath my heel. It's a very different relationship, and it shows a very different side of Maul. And I just think that's so cool. I really did not like those characters at first, but what they bring to the story is just profound for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I didn't like either one of them initially either. Actually, I did like Ezra initially, and then I really disliked Ezra for a while.
You've been on an arc with
because I was like all of a sudden like, all right, this is like a few years before A New Hope, yet we have this like super powerful Force user. That makes no sense to me.
right.
And then whisking him away to, so Ezra is kind of whatever. I'm glad he's gone. But I really adore Ahsoka's character. She's phenomenal. I love Ezra's arc if it's not so damn close to the A New Hope timeline.
Well,
like it's a great arc, and he's a great character kind of on his own, but I don't like how close it is to A New Hope. It literally doesn't work for me.
I feel it because Yoda be all like, the last of the Jedi you will be, and Luke's all like, what about that Ezra kid?
Yeah, what about that kid in the unknown regions? With also another overpowered character slash Darth or Thrawn.
Also, is Ahsoka still alive? Like, I could just imagine Luke all like, wait.
Yeah.
There's so many other Jedi. There's so many others.
Right. Yeah.
But Ahsoka has said repeatedly, I'm no Jedi.
That's fair.
Right.
It's kind of like the Sith, how they're like, only two there are, except Darth Maul's totally alive, but they get away with it because he's formerly Darth, not just Maul. Just Maul.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, when they say the last of the Jedi you will be, it's like, kind of.
Yeah.
Technically.
Right.
From a certain point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's fire off one last question each.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Last round.
Oh no! This question I guess isn't very fast. Now I have to think of something fast.
No, don't. No,
that's
ask the
fine.
question. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was gonna say if you can't be a Force user in Star Wars, what are you? You're in Star Wars, but sorry, you don't pass the Jedi test. What are you gonna be? What are you?
Doesn't matter. You can apparently be Ahsoka and be a Force god. So I'll just do that.
No, you know what I mean? I took Jedi away as an option because everybody wants to have a laser sword, right?
Right.
Okay, so who are you in Star Wars if laser sword is not an option?
I'm gonna kind of cheat and say Guardian of the Will.
Oh, there you go. Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna. I don't know though. There's also a part of me that would love to be a starfighter pilot. Somewhere, whether it's the Rebel Alliance or, flying in a Naboo starfighter or something like that. I would also love to be a starfighter pilot. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to drop Guardian of the Wills for now. I'm going to say I'd like to be a starfighter pilot. Fly maybe a Y-wing or an A-wing, which is two very different ships, but if I'm in the Rebel timeline, otherwise I'm flying Naboo starfighters, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be honest. I love those things.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you initially went with Guardians of the Wills because I'm going to go with that. Because I think that's perfect. Because I was like, I'm thinking of a smuggler, but I was like, I don't really want to be a smuggler. That's like stressful as heck. So I'm going to be a Guardians of the Wills because it like allows me to preserve the legacy of the Jedi. But okay, I'm not a Jedi. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So actually, no. I am going to be a caretaker on Octo. Screw it.
Oh yeah.
I want to be a caretaker. Because they're adorable, beautiful turtle creatures, and I am a caretaker. Sorry, Guardian of the Wills, I'm a caretaker.
You want to do Luke Skywalker's laundry? Is that your dream?
I'm on. Well, mainly I want to be the caretaker who has that like really useless wooden broom that like sweeps up stones. So
sweeping out the Jedi temple there.
Yeah, that is still top of my like. No, number 2 on my like most desired Black Series 6-inch action figures. Number 1 is Embo, but number 2 is a caretaker. So I'm definitely going with caretaker. What about you, Katie?
There's a couple options for me, TBH, because at the end of the day, I just want to wear great clothes. So I work for Crimson Dawn, like I'm there with Kira, working for Crimson Dawn on Dryden's yacht. Or I'm on Canto Bite, just straight up war profiteering. Sign me up. Sign me up for that war profiteering. Yep. I'm betting on the Fadia races, and I'm looking fly as hell. That's me. I was going to say I'm Padme, but I really don't have it in me to be a politician. So yeah, okay, either I'm war profiteering or I'm just a straight criminal. That's me.
There was part of me that was like, well, I could be a senator. I
was like, but then no, I don't want to be in politics. Yeah, then I'd have to be a senator. Like, yeah, like I want to be the democratically elected queen of Naboo. But then I have to be Queen of Naboo.
And all that entails.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I'll be part of the rep council in Otagunga.
Oh.
There we go.
You're going to hang out with Jar Jar. That's so good.
Yes, no, I'm still sticking with Starfighter Pilot. Yeah.
All right, Jason.
All I want out of life is to wear fabulous clothes. That's all I want.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Is it my turn?
Your turn.
Yes.
All right. This question is very much based off of that who would you have at your Star Wars dinner party question that we had back in California a couple months ago or a month ago. Gosh, it's only been like about a month ago, maybe.
Time is meaningless. Time is meaningless.
And this is also partly inspired by my new obsession with wanting to learn to play Dungeons and Dragons. if you had to pick 4 Star Wars characters to join you on your adventuring team, who would they be? So just you're adventuring the Star Wars galaxy. You're getting into trouble and mischief.
Okay.
4 characters you'd bring with you.
All right, really
Who would
quick.
they be?
Because my last question, and then which was going to be the last thing we do, is very similar to this, so we can just combine them. I'm gonna
Sure.
So I'm gonna allow for up to 5 because my question was you have to pick a 5-man team to do a covert operation in Star Wars, but it's very similar
okay.
to doing an adventure.
Yes.
So,
It's an adventure. It's a heist.
yes.
You know.
Yes.
So my scenario,
yeah.
which is a very
Okay.
much like a Dungeons and Dragons scenario, is you have to infiltrate a First Order / Empire's hidden base and sabotage their secret weapon.
I love it.
Character. Okay.
Who is your dream team of who you want to go on that adventure with, type of a thing?
Okay.
So-
Off the top of my head for this heist, Kira, K2SO, Poe Dameron, because someone's got to drive the getaway vehicle, and it's going to be Poe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got Kira, Poe, K2SO, Darth Maul because it's Darth Maul, and then that's it. Oh wait, I gotta have. No, I don't. Sorry, that's it. That's
All right.
That's my dream team. That's the
I
dream
love
team.
it. That's your dream team.
All right. Gosh, I'm having trouble coming up with a 5th.
Well, here, I'll give you a second because I got my team.
Okay, go ahead.
So my team is going to be Jyn Erso, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Cassian Andor, and Kanan Jarrus. That's
Why Kanan? Why Kanan?
Because I need somebody that can use the Force.
Okay. I guess that's why Darth Maul's on my team. Because, you have to have somebody use the Force. And then K2SO is like my droid. And also, like, if there's Imperials around, he can just pretend to be Imperial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kira's the distraction and Poe's the getaway vehicle. So.
I love it. Yeah. So,
and also K2SO is the slicer. You gotta have a slicer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my thought is, like, so Chewie can do all the tech stuff because he's smart AF about that. Cassian's the one who he's a jack of all trades. Also very dedicated to the cause. Han Solo because he's my boy and he's got the luck on his side. Jyn because she's badass in a fight and also she's just an all around great combatant. And Kanan because again he's got the Force and he knows how to do covert operations and can calm the tempers of some of the crew.
Yeah, fair enough.
So-
Wait, so are you doing the getaway vehicle? Or is that all Han?
Oh, Han's got that.
Oh, okay.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's got that.
Yeah.
He's got that lock, stock, and barrel. So, but what about you, Jason?
All right. Well, I've added my getaway vehicle driver
Nice.
in order to round out my team here. So this is going to come as no real surprise to you, but R2 is first on my team because what can R2 not do except talk English? I'm going to have Obi-Wan Kenobi circa Revenge of the Sith. Because I need a Force user and someone who's got a bit of humor. I'm going to have Leia from Return of the Jedi on my team because she's tough. She's a blaster. She can also, be the talker if she needs to be. Hondo. I got to have Hondo because you got to have someone with the underground connections. And he can be used as a distraction if you need
He'd
it.
probably take your cut of the take though and fly away.
I mean, but that's why I've got Hera as the getaway driver.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna have Hera be my getaway driver, with the Ghost. So yeah, that's gonna be my team: R2, Obi-Wan, Leia, Hondo, and Hera. So that's my crew.
I
So
love it.
I love
it.
it's fantastic.
Oh, that's
So-
great.
I think it's so funny that we had like such a similar final question, Carl.
I know, yeah. I wanted to get in some like you said, Jason. This was very much in the theme of the types of questions Katie was hitting us with in the
In the car
ride. So I was like, these are so fun. So I want to get in something like very on point like that.
Yes.
So yeah. So again, if you're listening, and I'd love to hear other people's, answers to these types of questions. Guys, I'm telling you, we're hanging out here at the Outlander Club, and I think it's last call. I think it's closing time. So
Something gives me the feeling it's closing time.
yeah,
I don't know what that could be.
yeah. So,
Open all the doors and let you on in.
I miss you guys so much. I missed you.
We were only gone for like a week, folks, but we were like craving this tonight. So
oh my goodness.
it's been good. It's been good, folks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we're getting kicked out here at the Outlander Club. I'm glad we all got to hang out after a couple weeks. But you know what? Again, like if you've listened through the whole episode and you know, jotted down the questions, like would love to hear other people's answers.
I know you want to take me home. I know you want to take me home.
So to respond,
Why do I feel like an
Katie's
episode
answer,
of
who
Smallville
she
is
wants
happening?
Yeah.
Katie wants to take home Maul. Jason
Yes.
wants to take home R2, and I want to take home Alden. So
Yes.
Truth.
So oh my gosh, that was so much fun, guys. I loved these questions.
Yes. Oh, don't worry, folks. We're gonna getting back into some of the awesome, in-depth discussions that we like to do here on the Wampus Lair next week.
Right.
We're gonna jump back into our journey to the Rise of Skywalker series and hit A New Hope.
Yes.
We're gonna step into the original trilogy. And, we're so excited about this. So
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
yes, but I cannot wait for next week.
Yes. And before we get to that, Jason had a really exciting epic matchup for next week. Jason, who are we pitting against one another for next week's episode?
All right. Well, we've got a Force duel going on here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to pit Darth Sidious versus Mother Talzin in a Force duel. So I really want to see what people say about this and who's going to win, because I think it's going to be an epic clash either way. So, Carl, if people want to weigh in on the matchup, if they want to weigh in on any of the other questions that we've talked about this episode, where can they do that?
Well, of course, you can always hit us up on Twitter at Wampa's Lair. We're on Facebook at Wampa's Lair Podcast, and you can always email us at wampaslairpodcast@gmail.com. Katie, when people aren't eating chicken in a pot, where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me eating chicken on a pot on Twitter at PoHotTamari.
Yes. Oh, definitely check it out, folks. It's a good time. Oh, man. Well, do we have anything else we got to get out of our system before we end this episode?
Nope.
All good.
All right. We're just going to dance our way out to this chicken in the pot. So thank you, everyone, so much for listening to episode 345 of the Wampus Lair podcast, hanging at the Outlander Club. For Carl and Katie, I'm Jason, and we will see you next time here in the Wampus Lair.
Wait, is that a puppet?
Might be.
Jedi business. Go back to your drinks.